Modernization theory is a theoretical perspective that explains the process a country goes through as it transitions from a traditional society to a modern society. Although there are multiple versions of modernization theory, most scholars agree that the theory emerged in the post World War II era during the 1950s, when social scientists attempted to explain why some countries are poor and underdeveloped and create a solution for underdevelopment.
To understand modernization theory, it's helpful to return to one of our basic theories of sociology, structural functionalism, and the work of Emile Durkheim. Now, if you recall your intro to sociology class, you might remember that a structural functionalist perspective is that idea that all elements of society play a role in making society work, kind of like various cogs in an old fashioned watch or clock. And one of the key structural functionalists, Emile Durkheim, argued that traditional societies with mechanical solidarity are those with similar roles and beliefs. Eventually, these traditional societies evolve into more complex societies with individual roles and beliefs and a more organic solidarity, where there are more roles and jobs that need to be done outside of a single community unit. Thus, societies develop from community based to individual based. And this provides a foundation for the importance of society progressing through evolutionary stages. As we outline the process of modernization, you should clearly see a parallel between Durkheim's much earlier theory of societal evolution and the notions of modernization that were outlined by modernization theorists in the 1950s. According to modernization theorists, during the process of modernization, traditional societies evolve into modern societies, which are the mirror image of contemporary Western societies. While people often associate modernization with industrialization, modernization theory holds that evolution from traditional to modern society involves increased ability and levels of formal schooling, as well as the development of mass media, both of which are thought to foster democratic political institutions. Through the process of modernization, transportation and communication become increasingly sophisticated and accessible. Populations become more urban and mobile, and the extended family declines in importance. Simultaneously, the importance of the individual in economic and social life increases and intensifies. Organizations become more bureaucratic as the division of labor within society grows more complex. Science, technology, and rationality become more important in public life, and religion declines. And finally, cash driven markets take over as the primary mechanism through which goods and services are exchanged. As it is a theory conceptualized by Western social scientists, it's also one with a capitalist economy at its center. Probably the most well known version of modernization theory is Walt Rostow's five stages of economic growth. In 1971, Rostow suggested an evolutionary process in which a society would progress up five stages of a development ladder. In stage one, society is marked by subsistence and agriculture. In stage two, there's a focus on specialization. Stage three is marked by industrialization, regional growth, and political change. Stage four is a focus on diversification, innovation, as well as investment. And stage five is marked by high mass consumption, which is consumer oriented, a focus on durable goods, and the dominance of the service sector. Rostov believed the process would take approximately 60 years. but the idea was that with help from the West, developing countries could develop much faster than we did. But what prevents development? According to modernization theorists, obstacles to development are internal to poorer countries. In other words, underdeveloped nations are underdeveloped because they have cultural and social systems as well as values and practices that prevent development from taking place. This can include particularism, where people are allocated into their roles based on their familial relationships to those who are already in positions of power, or collectivism, where an individual is expected to put the group, the family, or the village before their own self interest. Patriarchy can also hinder development, as it means that half the population is blocked from contributing to the political and economic development of the country. And an ascribed status, when your position in society is determined at birth based on your caste or ethnic group or gender, can also impact the process of development. Like all theoretical perspectives, modernization theory has both strengths and limitations. Some critiques of modernization theory include the fact that no country has ever followed Rostov's 5 stages. There's also an underlying assumption that Western civilization is technically and morally superior to traditional societies. In fact, some people would argue that it's not underlined, it's actually explicit. There's also the notion that modernization theory fails to account for the ways in which Western societies benefit from colonization and imperialism. Others have suggested that the modernization model focuses so much on the individual that there's a loss of community and the benefits of community living. And of course, it's important to consider the environmental impact of our current Western society.